They will make me to come online. They don't want to have me to rest. But you know what? You know what? The spirit in me, the Biafra spirit in me, I said, when I told you, if Nnamdi Kanu is looking for 100 people, I promise that I have 50 in me. You have not seen anything. It is not by my power. It is not by my power. It is not by my power. But, you know, as my own oru, I am a royal rucha. You understand? Till Biafra come. But today you are going to receive sense. The crypto, Nigeria crypto. As they are crippling your economy, they close border. They closed the border. ESN came out automatically, you know, weaponized. It shocked them. It shocked them. They said, this border no work. Oh. This close of border no work. Oh. Now, how do we stop the funding now of this Sunday or Igbo? How do we stop the contribution? Let us stop the crypto. Because they were following Nigerians, southern Nigerians. Use crypto. We should open crypto. We use crypto. Don't use the Western Union. Don't use this. They say, so these people are doing crypto. Okay, let us slash them. Bah. They are not considering the economic impact of crypto. No. They are not considering how much the crypto is bringing to Nigeria economy. Their agenda is not to make Nigeria progress. No. They have a better agenda. Now you get the point. Now you get the point. My only problem is that why is it that you must wait? Was Thomas born in Nigeria? Is Thomas a Nigerian? Is Thomas in the Bible in Nigeria? Are you a lineage of Thomas? Are you a lineage of Thomas? All of you have Thomas blood in your vein. How did you get Thomas blood in your vein? That it must happen to you first before you understand. We hear more. In Anopia, you hear more kind of woo. When we are telling you, you don't know, no, we are telling you, even we are not prophets, but everything we have said, everything we open this mouth to say, if it don't happen today, it will happen tomorrow. I want you to go from the beginning of this struggle, from the beginning. In fact, even the one that we are not sure of, once God asks us to say it, we will say it and God will do it. Hey! I said, did you see the prayer? May God harden the heart of the leaders in Nigeria so that we will tell them, the world may know that Obi is no longer a boy. I remember when we used to read the history of the Greeks, the Greek god. I don't know, you know, of course we don't read all those things in Africa. The history of the Greek gods.
iwe were iwe gị na ọmụma gị wee bịa leta anyị ụmụ anyị wee na-anwụsị ụfọdụ nọ n'ụzọ ije ha anaghị alọta ụlọ ọzọ nne na nna wee na-ata ahụhụ wee na-ata ikikere eze nwaanyị kunye ka ọ gaa ubi gaa rụọ ọrụ Fulani chiri ehi bata ebe ala gị ndị n'iyi okwu ebepụghị isi anyị bụ ka anyị kpọpụ onye nwe anyị n'ugwu Awụsa ahụ ejide anyị wee gbuo ihe ọ bụ anyị mara aka n'ime ha si maka ha aga n'ihu elekwa ọdụ ụgbọ mmiri n'igwe ọcha bụ ememiri ọhịa nke dị na Kalaba otu aka ahụ anyị na-ala nsọ ebe Biafra bụ ndị kọstọm sokonye anyị n'etiti anyị anọghị n'ime mmiri kama kọstọm juru ebe niile ha wee na-ata anyị ahụhụ anyị kwuo kwesịpụta anyị ka kpọchie anyị kwuo kwesịpụta anyị ka gbagbuo anyị onye nwe anyị na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe ọ bụ ụzọ dị anya ka isi wepụ ndị iro anyị anya wee karịa ndị nke gị akwa anyị bụ ụmụ Chineke akwa ọba aha anyị ka anyị na-aza akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza ike Chukwu akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza amara Chineke akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chisom akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chizọba nna nke dị nsọ onye ime eluigwe dịka otu onye iro dị na anyị bụ ụmụ gị bịa ka iwe zọpụta anyị bịa ka iwe napụta anyị n'aka ọjọọ ihe bịa ka iwe lụọrọ anyị ọgụ bịa ka iwe dịtụ ozu ọ bụ ọkọwa mgbe emilere Goliath Chineke nna nke igwe ruo ememila Fero sikwa otu a mee ka Fero ka ọ guzo n'ihu ụmụ ndị anyị bi obi ka o wee taa akọkwa igiri ụtọ ọzọ ị ga na-edu anyị n'ụzọ niile nke ezi omume ọ bụla adịghị na anyị na-aga ndagwurugwu onyinye ọnwụ ọ bụ nwa bụ ekele eluigwe n'ụwa nwunye ọbụla kere gị nweghị mmalite nweghị ọgwụgwụ kama anyị onwe anyị kwa anọkwa ahụ ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ n'ezie kama ma akọ na ogbu gị na-anọgide ego ego mgbe ebighị ebi ọ bụ ya mere anyị ji were gị n'anya isi anyị wee na-asị nna nke dị nsọ bịa ka iwe gosi anyị Biafra na ndụ na-abụghị n'ọnwụ bịa ka iwe mee ka ebe gị na amara gị wee kpuchiri anyị ka uwe bịa ka iwe zọpụta ndị nke gị bịa ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee bịa ka anyị na-ewetụta na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'aha gị onye bụ Chukwu nke abịa ma
I want you people to understand that the liberation of Biafra has entered the highest stage in the history of Biafra. Not even during the war. I am telling you, it has entered the highest stage ever. And we are going to do everything humanly possible in this life to restore Biafra. Everything humanly possible will be done. And I want you people to understand that the Biafra liberation is step by step, segment by segment, plan by plan, executions by execution. We'll be executing those plans according to the template till the last one, and Biafra.
Let us go talk about the objective of your struggle and how do you intend to achieve it in practical terms?
In practical terms, it is civil disobedience. The same way that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. accomplished civil rights in America, the same way that Mahatma Gandhi led India to independence out of British colonial rule. The same principles we are applying, and might I add, very successfully too. We will do everything possible to unravel and unshackle the zoo called Nigeria. Everything humanly possible. No stone will be left unturned. We will sacrifice everything sacrificable. Material, life, blood will throw into.
And we will do everything humanly possible to see the Biafra.
Welcome. Remember, we have agreed that in this platform, we will always give Mazi Simon Ekpa and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu a voice. And today's program is one of those programs where we give them a voice. It's one of those programs where we hear from them, get the message that is coming from them. And today we are going to listen to our Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa Joko. He has left a lot of information, things he has said before that are happening today, the effort he has put, a reminder so that we don't forget him. So many of us are already forgetting our Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa. So many are already forgetting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and they moved on. We cannot move on. These are people that have sacrificed their career. They have sacrificed everything they have to make sure that our voice is being heard. And even as we speak, they are still sacrificing, serving jail time in different detention centers. We cannot allow them to be silenced. We cannot allow their voice to be taken away. We will continue to give them a voice anytime we have the opportunity. More especially at this point in time when the eyes of the international community is in Nigeria. We will continue to bring their voice. We will never allow the enemies to change the narrative, no matter where they come from, including the manipulation they are doing. The identity manipulation that is going on in Nigeria today must not be overlooked. I have to touch that identity manipulation so that we don't forget. We will still speak about that tomorrow morning. Identity manipulation. That is why you are hearing about the Igbo Muslim society. There is nothing like that. It is all a manipulation to manipulate the identity of the Igbo people and change the narrative, to play down on the atrocities of Nigeria, to water down the Christian genocide. That is why you are hearing those narratives like Fulani Christians and Igbo Muslim society. It is false, a lie from the pit of hell, and we must confront it. Every one of us must continue to confront that lie. It doesn't hold water. We know who we are. We know where we are coming from and we know where we're going. And we will not allow anybody to come and change this narrative. Wherever you are, do your own part. Look at your environment, look at your neighbors, look at people that are living around you, find out what they are doing. Those people that claim to be the so-called Igbo Muslim, wherever they are, fish them out, find out who they are, the families they come from, if they truly exist. We know that so many of them are doing that for economic reasons. We know that so many of them are getting involved in that for economic reasons. That we will never overlook. And we will continue to follow it up and make sure whether you are a Christian, a traditionalist, or a Jewish in Biafra land, in Igbo land to be precise, you must pay attention to your family. Make sure they uphold their identity. Make sure they hold strong their spirituality. The spirituality of the Igbo people is very, very different. We are all known how we revere Chukwu Okike Abiama. Chukwu Okike Abiama is the front of everything we do. We speak to Chukwu Okike Abiama in our own language, not in any foreign language, not in any Arabic language. We speak to Chukwu Okike Abiama in our own language. We pray in our own language. Nobody can come and force to us a different custom that is alien to us. Christianity was able to survive because Christianity, spirituality gives you the opportunity to choose how to communicate to your God by yourself. Forget about the fact that some people, out of ignorance, think that somebody can stand in gap for them and speak to God. In Igbo spirituality, every one of us is a king and we can speak to our God in our own way, in the language that he will understand. And that is what Christianity is all about. That is why they were able to survive in Biafra land. But any foreign religion they are bringing that will force you to speak another language, any God that will not hear other language except the language of the Arabs, it's not us. It's not going to work with us. That is not who we are. So that propaganda is dead on arrival. And we must continue to confront it, talk about it, and expose it at any given point in time. That is why I touched it before we go into the message of our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. Let's hear him, what he had to say.
This evening, we are going to take the awareness for the freedom of Biafran people to the next level. Media awareness, we are taking it to the next level. I want you to understand that from today, the broadcast for the Biafra liberation and freedom have changed. And like I promised Biafra people yesterday, that we are going to step up our game since we are now in the international stage, this liberation. Everybody is talking about it. It is time to bring the plight of the Biafra people to the world. We have preached to the Biafra people from the local level. We have preached to the people in Nigeria. We have preached to the indigenous people in Nigeria. We have preached to the African people. We are now preaching to Europeans. We are now preaching to Americans. We are now preaching to Asians. We are now preaching to those who are interested, who want to save the life of indigenous people in Nigeria, so that Nigeria will not use the Taliban of Nigeria to kill everybody and turn Nigeria into Islamic State. We are going to fight. We are Christians, and we have what we call the dangerous diversity in Nigeria, and a very destructive diversity that can never work. Today, we are going to bring our lights to the world from what is happening in Munich, or what happened in Munich, where they have what we call the Munich Security Conference about the Ukraine war, and the NATO membership of the NATO, and the crisis around the world, especially within Europe. So we are going to analyze some of these videos from this Munich conference, where they are discussing the freedom of people in Europe, where they are discussing the security of people in Europe. So I want to learn from them, and then I will use it to, do some things from the perspective of the Biafra people. We are all human beings. If you can fight for Ukraine, if Russia invades Ukraine, you have to fight for Biafra. As Nigeria has invaded Biafra. If you say that Russia has breached and violated the law, Nigeria also has violated the law, international law. Nigeria has violated the United Nations human rights, which they are also signatory to. Nigeria has violated the law just as Russia. And on that ground, we are opting out. We are saying that what Nigeria is parading to the world as a democratic process, they call it the general election, is not a democratic process. And that is why the Biafra people are going to not allow Nigeria to conduct election in its territory, because the election of Nigeria is not a democratic process. There is nothing democratic when you have 400,000 Boko Haram in the Nigerian army or police to come to Biafra land and lay a siege and ask people to come out and vote. That is not a democratic process. It is worse than what is going on in Ukraine. So on that ground, Biafran people are only requesting the opportunity to have a true democratic process, which is what we call the referendum. So by the time we succeed in stopping Nigeria from conducting this election in different countries, we are going to now begin to demand and have what we call the referendum that will give every person the right to participate and decide their future, whether they want to be part of a terrorist country or not, whether they want to be part of a country that have committed crime globally, whether they want to be part of a country that all they do is to breed criminals, and whether they want to be part of a country that everything innovation has been abolished, and they have adopted what we call the Sunni, which is that they abolish everything innovation. We are innovative, and we don't want to be part of a country where they are abolishing innovation and they are adopting what we call Sunni. So this particular diversity is very dangerous and very destructive, but it must end this year. If it did not end this year, we may find ourselves in the position or the situation like the Afghanistan people, and at the end of the day, the Taliban will take over. I want to inform you today, those of you listening from Europe, from America, that some of you that are into security issues, you know that Nigeria has always, tried to rehabilitate terrorists, and they will now, recruit them into the security agencies. When you come to Africa with African mentality and the ideology of terrorists, you cannot recruit terrorists and rehabilitate them within 6 months, and you say you are now recruiting them into Nigeria security apparatus. And you allow us, you expect us to keep quiet and want to, live our life in a country like that? No. We want to stop Afghanistan template that is being played in Nigeria. In Afghanistan, it took them 20 years. America pumped money for good over 20 years. At the end of the day, they defeated everybody and they took over Afghanistan. We cannot just watch and look at Afghanistan repeating in Nigeria. Why you put our life in danger in the name of politics? Why you put our life in danger in the name of democracy? There is no democracy in Nigeria. We are fighting for the true democracy, and that is why we will not allow this fraudulent election to hold in Biafra land. If you support this election, you are fighting against democracy. If you support this election, you are fighting against justice. If you support this election, you are fighting against fairness. In Nigeria, after you go into the poll to vote, the court of the Fulani will give a decision and decide who will become the chairman, or who will become the governor, or who will become even the president. So we do not want to validate Nigeria again, and we are making this position very clear to the international community. We are saying that Nigeria are bringing over 400,000 security personnel to force Biafra into election, and we are not going to allow that. So if you are coming from the Western world to be an observer in Biafra land, you may end up witnessing a war of separation. And because when these 400,000 policemen come to Biafra, they are not coming for peace. They are coming to kill our young men, kill our children, kill our women, burn our houses, and we cannot hold our hand and watch. So we're going to fight back. So if you are coming to Biafra land in the name of observer, just be very security conscious, because you may end up coming to observe war between Nigeria and Biafra, because they are going to come in our land to fight war with 400,000 policemen that they could not provide when the Fulanis are killing our people. They could not provide the security when their sponsored jihadists and terrorists come to our land to kill. Today, they are deploying 400,000 policemen to conduct election. It is unacceptable. And Biafra people have made up their mind. I am just a spokesperson for the Biafra people. And I'm telling them they are right, and they are agreeing to that information, they are agreeing to the advice and the directive I'm giving to them as the spokesperson of Biafra people. So today, we are going to listen from our own other people from Europe, from the European Union side, from NATO, from the Unity Conference that is happening in Munich, and we are going to get and borrow some words, and add it to what we are doing. People to understand that we are not just coming to social media to rant. Rather, we have come for a just cause and a just fight. Fight to freedom. That's all. We are not interested in any other thing other than referendum for the Biafra people. The time is now. All right, I welcome you for this opening speech. A lot of issues have been touched and addressed. You are watching live and direct on Enter Biafra Channel 1, live and direct on Enter Biafra 97.5 FM in Biafra land. You're watching live and direct on other auto-piloted IPOD platform. I want everybody to pay attention to what I'm about to do this evening.
You confirmed this U.S. support, but we all know next year the United States will enter into an election campaign. We are in a democracy. We know which side of the aisle the result will be. How sure are you that, or certain are you that what you have said, that Putin, who wants to wait us out, in the end will not succeed?
Thank you, Christoph. As I said, I believe the American people understand the stakes. And the stakes being our moral interests and our strategic interests.
Our moral interest our strategic interest. I want you to listen to this. Our moral interest. In Biafra today, within the Nigeria state, our fight now is a fight for our moral interest. Moral interest. We are not different from governments in America, we are all the same. They are not more better than us. If America can fight for their moral interest, Biafra people have started fighting for their moral interest.
But we all know next year
our moral interest is constantly being violated in Nigeria by the Nigeria state because of the differences in diversity. So we want to fight to also protect our moral interest. And our moral interest can only be protected as an independent state where we can practice this democracy to the fullest. Thank you.
States will enter into an election campaign. We are in a democracy. We know which side of the aisle the result will be. How sure are you that, or certain are you that what you said that Putin wants to wait us out, that in the end he will not succeed?
Thank you, Christoph. As I said, I believe, and I believe the American people understand the stakes. And the stakes being our moral interest and our strategic interest.
Our moral interest and our strategic interest. Like I said before, I want to borrow something from them. I want to lend this their, what they are saying, because this is now the highest level, of international politics. So what we do now is to protect our moral interest. Our moral interest has been violated, has been rubbished in Nigeria. Nigeria do not have any moral, they don't protect any moral interest of any ethnic group in Nigeria. They do not protect any moral interest of any ethnic nationality in Nigeria. And the time has come that we begin to adopt the West style of civilization. So we are also demanding that our interest, our moral interest, will be protected. And the only place it can be protected is in Biafra nation, where we have, where our diversity is completely dissolved, and we can progress and build our nation as people with the same cultural value, with the same moral value system, with everything the same. We have no same moral value system with the northern Nigeria. We do not have anything in common. In fact, it is thousand pole apart, clashing of interest. So when you are trying to protect your moral value in Nigeria, where a northerner is a jihadist, where the whole system has been colonized, it does not work. They look for you to kill. Now I am preaching that our people need to have freedom, and they are placing $100,000 bounty on my head. As you can see, they have increased the money from $50,000 to $100,000 because I am asking for freedom. The moral value system can never be protected in Nigeria. And the picture here explains it. Nigeria retirees and European retirees. This cannot be accepted anymore. We want to give our retirees a good life and a better standard of living. We cannot continue to allow retirees to live like animals, like you see them sitting on the street, while in Europe, retirees are well treated and have people taking care of them. We want a Biafra where this moral value that has been bastardized, as you can see in the picture, will be respected and protected. Thank you, and let us continue.
I will tell you, I travel around the United States, and I have seen the Ukrainian flag fly in places most of you have probably never heard of in the United States.
Biafra flag will be next. Ukrainian flag is flying most places where everybody did not, where most of people didn't know they exist. And I just pray that we did not go to the point where the Biafra flag has to fly everywhere in America before our freedom will be given to us.
Storefronts.
Because it can be avoided by just requesting for referendum and everybody will vote. And after that, everybody will go to the house and answer his father's name.
In front of homes, people proudly wearing, Americans proudly wearing the colors of Ukraine. The American people are aware of the images of Bucha. The American people take great pride in a fight for independence.
American people take great pride in a fight for independence. I want you to understand that it is not only America that takes great pride in the fight for independence. Biafra people are just as human beings as American people, and we have decided to emulate you by taking pride in the fight for independence. And this is not the independence of another country. We are not taking pride in fighting for independence of another country. Rather, we are taking pride now in the fight of our own independence, of our own life, of our own future. And we are appealing to you, if this comes to your table, because it is going to come, by the time Biafra succeed in stopping this particular fraud for the election, it will come to your table. When it comes to your table, please remember that we want to emulate you by taking pride in fighting for freedom that is not for another people but for ourselves and for our future. Please, this is a plea and appeal I am making to America and to the world, that America should not be the only country that will fight and get pride in fighting for freedom. We are not fighting for another country freedom. We are not taking pride in that. We don't have the capacity to do that yet. But at least we are taking pride, the Biafra people, in standing very tall against Nigeria to fight for our own freedom. That's what we are starting from this year. And so this coming week may not be very funny to the world.
That being part of the foundation of our nation and our principles and values. I think about where the United States is going on this issue based on the track record of where we've been.
This is exactly the track record of where America has been. I am not here to talk against America, but we can see the track record in Afghanistan. We have seen the track record, okay? We've seen the track record in Libya. We've seen the track record in Iraq. We've seen the track record in Syria, okay? That is not to say that whatever they did that time was wrong, but it's a track record we are talking about, right? And we have been killed in millions. America supported it at some point. In the 60s, during the Biafra War, we were killed. America, the world, watched how they starved us to death. And Biafra people, children, died in their millions. And that war has not ended. It still continues. The starvation has not ended. It still continues. So this particular broadcast today is going to be very short, so that the world will understand that we have a problem, and this problem needs to be solved. We do not need to go into war to solve it. There is possibility that your action and not overlooking Africa will solve this problem without combat. But the point I'm trying to make today as a representative of Biafra people is that Biafra is also ready to go the round for the second time, if that is what it takes. Those people that are making comments on social media, they are just minority. They have access to the internet, and they can make noise on social media. Those people following P2B and co, they just have access to the internet. They are ignorant of their own problem. And the majority of America did not agree for America to go to Afghanistan. There are opposition parties that did not accept American invasion in Iraq. There are opposition political parties that did not accept America going to invade Syria. There are opposition political parties and Americans, millions, that did not agree with Obama when Obama invaded Libya. It is normal. So the question here is that the majority of Biafran people want to leave Nigeria. So P2B, as a single person who does not have anything to offer, cannot be a distraction to whether our moral interests should be protected outside Nigeria or not. To know whether our future should be protected outside Nigeria or not. I want to say this thing, and I'm expecting that one day this whole thing will escalate. If you people do not want to intervene and solve it now, that it has not escalated. Because definitely, freedom, everybody knows freedom is not given, it's taken. Just like the Ukrainians are taking their own by force against Russia, we are going to take our own also against Nigeria. And we are doing that already. It is important that this particular coming week, that Nigeria is planning to murder our people by deploying 400,000 policemen. These policemen are security agencies. Some of them are ex-Boko Haram members that they have recruited, rehabilitated according to them, and recruited into the system. And they are not coming to Biafra land to, follow the rule of engagement or follow the rule of law. They are coming to kill. They are coming to cause chaos. They are coming to cause crisis. And the ignorant people will say, oh, you are the one causing it because you are agitating and fighting for your freedom. Is that the justification to come and start killing innocent people because Simon Ekpa is preaching the freedom of Biafra? Do you justify that? I want everybody to know that this message today must be caught and edited and shared and let it go to the world. We are going to broadcast it. Share it to all media that you know. So they understand that we are not shaking. We are going to stand on our ground of no election, only referendum will be allowed in Biafra land. And next week, Biafra people are going to speak. We are going to speak in a very strong voice that will shock the world.
You only have to look at where we were a year ago and where we are today in terms of the contributions and resources that America has put into everything from ammunition to artillery to air defense.
Sometimes these ammunitions and defense goes into the wrong hand. I'm not talking about Ukraine, but I'm talking from the history. We have the same value system with America. Why are you not giving us arms to defend ourselves against terrorists and jihadist government? Why do you have to give arms to people that do not have the same faith with you? I'm not talking about Ukraine, and don't get me wrong. I'm talking about the past and previous investment of America in Arab countries. Why do you go to support Afghanistan Taliban? Why do you go to give arms to them? You don't have the same faith. You don't have the same cultural value system. You don't even have the same moral interest. Your moral interests are not the same. Why do you choose to fund and arm them, for whatever reason, and now we are now in a state of anarchy in our land against Nigeria? Nigeria state is coming and committing genocide in our land, killing us just because we want to demand our right to govern ourselves. We want to demand independence. Just want to enjoy, just like Ukraine has been. We want to do and live like the people in Europe. Is that a crime? The investment you can do that will benefit you will be the only investment America and Europe can do now is to support Biafra exit from Nigeria. We have the resources, we have the minerals, we have whatever you think, we have the brain. And working with Biafra people will be the best thing for global peace. For peace in Africa, for peace in the Sahel. So that the influx of immigrants from Africa, which is mainly being supplied by Nigeria, to Europe will reduce. Once that reduces, it will reduce the crime that Nigerians are committing all over the world. So it is for your interest. And I will, at this juncture, bring the video of this man who also lamented how the Boko Haram will take over Nigeria and will turn Nigeria and they make Nigeria safe haven. And at the end of the day, they are going to attack America. With the emergence of Biafra as a nation, they can never succeed in attacking America. So I want everybody to watch.
They're willing to cooperate because of that, because they know each other, because there's some tribal ties and engagements that allow them to work together, whereas in other parts of the world they have different objectives and a little bit different view. And so that tends to bring Islamic State and Al-Qaeda into conflict. Here, they're able to overcome that, and that's what, and work for a common purpose in their mind. I think long term, and we don't know when this will happen, but long term they want to establish themselves, they want to establish a caliphate, and they are willing, we know they have not only the desire, but the will to attack the United States in the West.
You see, in the long time, they don't know when this is going to be. They don't know when this is going to be, but in the long time, they know that they're going to attack the United States and the West. I didn't say it. It's coming from a general who has been in the Sahel region. So let us listen to him again.
I think long term, and we don't know when this will happen,
Long time.
they want to establish themselves, they want to establish the caliphate, and they are willing, we know they have not only the desire, but the will to attack the United States in the West.
When they establish the caliphate, once they have found Nigeria a safe haven, establish a caliphate, they are going to attack America and the West. That's what we are fighting for. You see? So when you disintegrate Nigeria, you have disintegrated this threat that is a futuristic threat that is posing to against America and the West. So I want everybody to understand that when we are fighting for our freedom, we are fighting for the safety of Europe and the safety of America. Because once they succeed in taking Nigeria, just like they take Afghanistan, that's the end. You are all going to be in hell, waiting for any day that the caliphate from Nigeria will come to Europe and attack you. They are going to be sponsoring terrorists into Europe, and it is going to happen, but we are going to stop them this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats now so we can prepare the room for the next session.
Vote for your Ukraine policy.
I think, should I start, my dear? Yeah. I think it is important that we're very clear about what this Russian war is. It is about Putin's imperialistic plans. And this is something where all of us, and mainly the Global South and the rhetoric, it is completely unacceptable. And countries on the other side have a long-standing experience. First, you send the negotiators in, then you send, they see that the experts are being sent in, and then it's the mercenaries that are being sent in. So what we have to do is not only explain that we will never ever accept this imperialistic war, we will never ever accept that Putin is trampling on the international law that protects all of us, that the UN Charter, that is also in the interest, I mean, it's in the interest of every single country, is being treated so disrespectful, and that we will never accept that today you can send tanks just across the border to invade a country.
And I want to also remind the European Union that everything that they have said here, the Nigerian government has done it in Biafra land. The Nigerian government has breached and violated all available international law. They have committed extraordinary rendition, kidnapping Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya because Africa is corrupt and nobody is talking. And Nnamdi Kanu is a British citizen, and they kidnapped him from Kenya, renditioned him, tortured him for 8 days, subject him to all manner of degrading treatment and human rights abuse and torture, and sent him to Nigeria and incarcerated him. He didn't end there. I want to inform the European Union that in addition to this, the United Nations Arbitrary Committee on Against Torture and Arbitrary Detention also have issued ultimatum to the Nigeria state to release Nnamdi Kanu within 6 months and compensate him. 6 months has expired. Nigeria violated that particular directive from the United Nations. I want to inform Europe that Nigerian government have committed as worse crime than Russia Putin against the Biafra people. The only difference here is that Biafra at this day is still within the Nigeria state, and they are sending the military attacks to Biafra land within Nigeria to kill their own citizens. The difference here is that while Putin is sending military tanks across border, Nigeria is sending military tanks within its own border as Nigeria state, and they are killing their own citizens, and nobody is talking. So I want the Europe to understand that Nigeria state has committed worse crime. The number of deaths being recorded in Nigeria every day outnumber 100 times the number of deaths being recorded in Ukraine, with all the military strike and the tanks that Russia is sending to Ukraine. So I want this particular record to be very straight, that purity, civil war is ongoing in Nigeria, and the Biafran people cannot take it anymore. And we do not want to be part of a country like that. Again, there is no plan for development. There is no plan for innovative future in Nigeria. Everything is going down, and their plan is just to Islamize us and turn us into caliphate. And we are not going to accept that kind of arrangement. You cannot force us to change our faith from Christian to caliphate, to Muslims. We are not Muslims. We are very, very different people. Our cultures are different, languages are different, everything is different. So, this particular issue that is happening today, the crisis in Nigeria, is a long time coming. It's a history that we have. We cannot continue to overlook this historic mistake and miscarriage of justice against the Biafra people. And we are going to go into the poll this coming week to validate Nigeria again. So we are putting this to the notice to the Americans, to Europeans, to understand that we are also human beings fighting for our future, fighting for rights to live, fighting for right to existence, fighting for the right to practice our faith and religion, fighting for the right to participate in a democratic process that is globally acceptable. And the democratic process starts by allowing the people to choose how they want to live their life freely. And if you do not allow them to choose, then you are inviting anarchy, and they have to revolt against the system. And that is happening already. So let us continue.
And this is something which my experience in the last 12 months needs a lot of just hard work, to work together with the Global South, to make understood our point of view, but also to work with them on dealing with the knock-on effect of this atrocious war. This is the food crisis. This is the energy crisis. And that we do our utmost to deal with the knock-on effects in a way that the Global South does not suffer too much from Putin's war of aggression. This is our task. It's hard work, but it's absolutely worth it.
Prime Minister Marin, somebody as cult a hero around the world as President Lula of Brazil also doesn't believe in the intervention that you all have taken in NATO against, as you described, the illegal invasion of one country by a bigger country. So, as Commissioner von der Leyen says, we will never support this. We understand their historic issues. How do you see?
Now, this is another comment from another country president that they will never support this, that they understand the historical issue. The question I want to ask to America, to Europe today, what do you know about Nigeria historical issues? What do you know? How conversant are you with the Nigeria historical issues? How conversant are you with the formation of Nigeria? How conversant are you with the Biafra plight in Nigeria? How conversant are you with all these historical issues about Nigeria, and how do you intend to deal with it? Because it is all about now the historical, that they know historical issues. So I hope that you are all aware of the historical issues when it comes to Nigeria, because from next week, it is going to be an escalation. And that escalation will definitely call your attention that you start talking about it. So I hope that when this time comes, you are going to know the historical issues of Nigeria, because the discussion will be coming from that particular perspective, the historical issue in Nigeria. Very, very important. Right, let us continue.
Trying to convince others of the justness of your cause.
The war in Ukraine, it's not only an issue for Europe, it's an issue for the whole world. And that's because there's a war of values going on. Authoritarian...
Exactly the same thing, my Prime Minister. What we are fighting for has become a fight for value. Everything has to do with value system. Now, do you have the same value system with the caliphate? The answer is no. Do you have the same value system with the jihadists? The answer is no. The only people that you have the same value system with are the Igbos, are the Biafrans, are the Afiks, are all the other ethnic groups that comprise the Biafran people. These are the people that you have the same value system with. You do not have value system with people against with the nomadic terrorists. You do not have the same value system with these jihadists. You do not have the same value system with the Taliban of Nigeria. So you have the same value system with us. And it is the same clash of interests that have subjugated us into this slavery by mistake because of the British interest. Britain left the European Union and they voted, and a lot of people in Britain voted against leaving the European Union. Something is happening in Biafra today. Some people, if you ask a question, are you sitting at home? No, I'm not sitting at home because I want Biafra. They are forcing me. But you want Biafra? Yes. The same thing is happening in Europe. Something has happened to the United Kingdom. Something will continue to happen, and it is normal in democracy. Some people will agree, some people will not agree. But at the end of the day, the majority carries the vote. During the time the United Kingdom was exiting the European Union, a lot of people in the United Kingdom objected it. Even till today, some people are still objecting that it was not the right decision. Yet, they exited. We are asking to have the same right of existence, that you respect our rights and our value. Why I'm making this broadcast today is that it's going to go down in history. In the next coming week, it will be unbelievable. And your attention must be called when the time comes. So you have to learn to respect our own value and our own rights to protect that particular value system, the interest that follows it. That's all I'm preaching. And that's why I have invested and sacrificed my life, put my life in danger to make sure that I educate my people that they have a choice. They have a choice not to validate Nigeria this coming weekend. And they have agreed that they are not going to validate Nigeria. So if Nigeria is bringing security agents to kill us like they did in the past, we have already arms, which we have been using to defend ourselves. We are going to defend the land of Africa. And it will not end well.
Countries are raising their heads. They are raising their heads against the international rule-based order. And this is a problem for everyone. When Russia attacked Ukraine, it violated all the rules, all the agreements it has itself been committed to before.
Exactly the same thing. When Nigeria went to Kenya to kidnap a British citizen who happened to come from Biafra land, they violated every international agreement. When Nigeria refused to obey United Nations Arbitrary Committee, they violated the international law. The violation of the law is a violation of the law. Law law. Violation of international treaty, violation of international instrument, violation of international agreement is a violation of international agreement. Cross-border crime. A cross-border crime is a cross-border crime. Nigeria have committed that crime. Nigeria have disobeyed the United Nations. They have no regard to international agreement. They have no regard to international law. And we cannot choose to continue to live a life like that. So we want to enjoy the same right, just like every one of you in the European Union.
And this is a problem for everyone, because then we will only see decades of this kind of behavior ahead of us if Ukraine doesn't win the war and if we don't stand behind our values and the international rule-based order. So I think
that is it. Ukraine is definitely going to win the war because they are fighting for their rights. So they are definitely going to win the war. But we are also standing behind our value. Our Prime Minister, a very, very brilliant lady, she is speaking the mind, just like, every in an average thing. They pour out their heart when they talk. So she's speaking it the way it is. We stand struggling, behind our value system. And that's what is driving and propelling Simon Ekpa to do what he is doing today. And I'm not going to stop. Rather, I am increasing the tempo. This fire is increasing. And by tomorrow, from tomorrow going forward, the fire will go to the highest degree. Because I am standing very strongly behind my values, which is not the same with the caliphates that are ruling Nigeria and the bandits that are ruling Nigeria.
This is a larger issue than just issue for Europe, just issue for Ukraine. And we have to do utmost to make sure that Ukraine will win and that we will preserve this system of rules that we have created together. And there was a reason why this was created. The wars before, world wars that we have seen, and it was devastating. And that's why we built a system where we can negotiate, where we can build peace.
Exactly. The reason all these things were, put in place, NATO, United Nations, is because of the devastated war that we have fought. So the world came together to look for a way to negotiate for peace. Today, there is still that opportunity to negotiate for peace in Nigeria. And the only thing that will bring this peace in Nigeria is this particular disintegration, to disintegrate our differences. Is that too much to ask? That is the work of the United Nations. The crisis in Nigeria, the terrorism in Nigeria that is being funded by a particular region from the north, have to end. How do you end it? Look at it. What is the cause of this terrorism in Nigeria? The cause is that the jihadists, the caliphate, want to take over Nigeria. In case you do not know the reason why they want to take over Nigeria, I want to bring it to the table because you need to know the causes of what is happening. I want everybody to pay attention to this particular video. Now, why are we, why is this issue of disintegration of Nigeria have to happen? And why should the United Nations intervene? The reason is here.
Hello and welcome to a spirited debate. I'm Lauren Green. Boko Haram has been terrorizing Nigeria's Christian community for years now, victimizing those who would stand in the group's way of creating an Islamic State. Christian Solidarity International is on the ground in Nigeria, working with victims to give them support they need. Franco Mayok is the program manager of Nigeria's project and joins me now to explain the religious tensions smoldering in this region. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
You know, the interesting thing about Boko Haram, which I didn't know before, is that they really come out of Sudan. And we know the struggle was in Sudan, where they broke the country in two. So explain where they come from.
Well, I can put it this way. Nigeria, after independence, the first two missions they have, one was in London and one was in New York. The third mission after that was in Sudan. And there is a reason for that. Sudan is the shortcut to Mecca. Someone from Nigeria, they go through Chad and go to Sudan and then go to the Mecca for the pilgrim.
The Mecca, to go to Mecca,
yes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And because of that, there are a lot of Nigerians who go to Sudan on the way to Mecca. And when they come back and they're poor, they stay there. And Sudan become their own country. Now, when the Islamic government came to Sudan in 1998, and their agenda was to Islamize Sudan in general, they were working with Nigerians. They were working with Osama bin Laden. When Osama bin Laden was pushed out from Sudan, he took with him one group of the terror, and then another group left in Sudan, and the third group was sent out to disrupt the neighboring country. Part of those groups were Boko Haram, who were sent to Nigeria. And the idea is Sudan believed that the people who are ruling Nigeria now are not extremely enough, like the way it used to be. So the Boko Haram, people who start Boko Haram, they did the training in Khartoum with Osama bin Laden, and then they were sent to Nigeria.
I hope you are listening. And one of the person who is the founder of this Boko Haram now is running to become the vice president of Tinubu. And in a such system, when this information is out there and it's a fact, you still have that right to participate in a democratic process. So how do you justify, that you want us to go into a poll, into a democratic process where a founder of a terrorist group is running to become the vice president? Is that the kind of country you want to be part of? Because even if he did not succeed in becoming the vice president, he still have a very much influence in the system. How should we continue to be like that? So I want everybody to understand where the problem of Nigeria is coming from, and of course, the kind of dangerous diversity that we have, and we must make sure that this diversity is disintegrated for peace. And this is where European Union, who knows the importance of NATO and the United Nations, should step in and understand that the purpose of forming this organization is for global peace. And for global peace, and for peace to come to Nigeria and Sahel and West Africa, Nigeria needs to. So people should be given the opportunity to vote and participate in a true democratic process called the referendum.
So there's all Al-Qaeda ties.
It's all Al-Qaeda. Boko Haram is the Taliban of Nigeria.
Boko Haram is the Taliban of Nigeria. And today, Afghanistan, Taliban has taken over Afghanistan, and they are now planning how to take over Nigeria because they have infiltrated all the security agencies in Nigeria.
That's the way I can put it.
Who are these people that become members of Boko Haram? Who are they? Are they disenfranchised? Or are they educated? Or are they unemployed? Who are they?
These are coming from the two tribes in Nigeria, Fulani and Hausa tribe. Those are Muslim. And you can see in Nigeria, bordering to Chad, there is a state called Borno. Those people, it's easy for them to go to Chad and go to Sudan and go to the Makkah. And when they come back, in 1998, the Sudan government opened up the scholarship for the young Nigerians to go for education. But those people were sent to the training camp to be terror. So they are the young Nigerians who are educated, who go to Sudan and they pretend they are going for the scholarship. And they were trained there and then sent back to Nigeria.
And these are the Boko Haram?
And those are the Boko Haram members.
From January 2012 to July 2013, Boko Haram bombed, burned, or attacked 50 churches, killing at least 366. Why are they going after Christians?
They believe that they should be the one to rule the Nigeria, especially when Goodluck Johnson, the president, who is the president of Nigeria currently, is a Christian from the south. And I think that set them off, that how could the Christian be a president in a country that where there is Muslim? They believe that.
Now, that is the problem. That, make them kick off. How could a Christian be president in a country, in Nigeria, where there are Muslims? Now, these people are shouting P2P, P2P, P2P. And what happened to Jonathan? P2P code, of course, that is not even happening, but just to tell you that it will be worse, if not what we are doing today. It will be worse, because the same Boko Haram is there. Shetima is there. All the people that are funding Boko Haram, they are very, very intact in Nigeria. And so, if you renew this agreement, you are going to have worse situation than what they did to Jonathan. They will destabilize the country and you are going to be enslaved for a very long time. And we don't want to follow you, your stupid self, into this particular stupid decision. That's why majority of Biafra have decided that coming week, nobody will go out to vote in Biafra land. I want you to listen to what has happened to you before. You are going to do something to renew it again so that it will happen to you the second time. And the second time, you may not survive it.
The country should be ruled by Sharia law. And if you can see to Nigeria, the 12 states in the north, they apply the Sharia law in the country. Even though there are minority Muslims who live with them, Christian, but still they apply the Sharia law. So to them is that they should take all the Nigerians to be ruled by Islamic law. So
are you hearing that? The agenda is to take all the Nigerians to be ruled by Islamic law. That is the reason why in all political parties they fixed themselves. In PDP, they are the presidential candidate. In NDC, they are the vice presidential candidate. In Labour Party, they are the vice presidential candidate. They have succeeded in fixing themselves in all the political parties. Just whoever win is a win for them. Whoever lose is a win for them. How do you continue in a country like that? I just want the European Union to understand in case they pretend not to know.
Not use violence against each other, wars, attack another country to make a stand or gain something.
And to that end, when you came into office, as early as this time last year, you were saying that Finland would not want to join NATO, and then a month later was the invasion, and now obviously you're trying to join NATO. There is a little bit of a kerfuffle with Turkey deciding whether it's going to approve or not. We understood from the Secretary General of NATO that maybe now there will be separate tracks. Do you expect to join NATO separately, or are you committed to trying to join it together with Sweden?
When the war started 24th of February last year, and now we're heading towards a very sad anniversary, 1 year anniversary of the war just next week, it was obvious that Finland will join NATO. It was obvious at the same day when Russia attacked Ukraine. The Finnish mindset, the most important thing for Finnish people is to make sure that we are independent, we are secure, we have a sovereign country, we can make our own decisions.
Are you hearing it? The most important thing for Finnish people is that we are independent, we are secure, we can make our own decision, and you can see that in my life today. You can see that in my life. I am also a Finnish person. And I want to bring this particular life back to my people. So we don't become dependent, on any nation. The reason I want to bring this video to you today is for you to understand that when I say I am made in Biafra, nurtured in Finland, and also trained in Finland, is that I did not just live in this country like a Nigerian, because I can't be proud to live even when I have not joined Biafra. Proud to be living in a country as a Nigerian. If you live in a country as a Nigerian, you are a criminal, because Nigeria, what they do is to commit crime. I didn't live in this country as a Nigerian. I live in this country, and I integrated, and the system assimilated into me. So I want you to look at and listen to what our Prime Minister is saying about the faith, and you understand from where and you understand why I am paid in the ass of whoever that has tampered with the security, with the freedom of my people. Now you understand why I do what I'm doing. And if you think that you are going to force me to step down on what I'm doing, my brother, I said I am nurtured in Finland. And I want to play it again for you to understand. That's what we call the value system. The value system.
whether it's going to approve or not. We understood from the Secretary General of NATO that maybe now there will be separate tracks. Do you expect to join NATO separately, or are you committed to trying to join it together with Sweden?
When the war started, 24th of February last year, and now we're heading towards very sad anniversary, 1 year anniversary of the war just next week. It was obvious that Finland will join NATO. It was obvious at the same day when Russia attacked Ukraine. The Finnish mindset, the most important thing for Finnish people is to make sure that we are independent.
The most important thing for Finnish people is that we are independent.
Secure.
We are secure.
We have a sovereign country.
We have a sovereign country where we can make our own decisions.
Make our own decisions. This is number one issue for Finnish people.
Do you understand that? And this particular Finnish people way of thinking have entered me, and I want to use it to save my own people.
And when Russia, our neighbor, attacked another neighbor, Ukraine, it was obvious that Finland will join NATO, because that's the line, that's the only line that Russia wouldn't cross. So
are you hearing that? I want to take this back again, because you need to know that we are not taking this.
Finland will join NATO. It was obvious at the same day when Russia attacked Ukraine. And means that the most important thing for Finnish people is to make sure that we are independent, we are secure, we have a sovereign country, we can make our own decisions. This is number one issue for Finnish people. And when Russia, our neighbor, attacked another neighbor, Ukraine, it was obvious that Finland will join NATO, because that's the line, that's the only line that Russia wouldn't cross. So it's to do with our security, it's to do with peace. It's an act of peace for Finland to join NATO. We have sent a very clear message. We want to join together with Sweden at the same time. It's not only because we are good neighbors and good partners, it's also to do with very concrete matters. The security planning of NATO in the whole North, it's in the interest of us, but it's also in the interest of NATO that Finland and Sweden will join simultaneously. And we have sent very clear signal and very clear message to Turkey and also to Hungary that hasn't ratified yet, that we want to enter NATO together, and this is in the interest of everyone.
So you see, this is what civilization is all about. As I am here now, lecturing you, creating this awareness to understand why Simon Ekpa is doing what he's doing. The caliphate, the representative of the caliphate, called Garoba, Adamu Garoba, was on Russian TV. You know, because you know that it's like the TV is they are working together. There was a Russian TV demanding the arrest of Simon Ekpa. Demanding arrest of Simon Ekpa for fighting for this right. You know, the Fulani man, the terrorist representative in Nigeria called Adamu Garoba, was on RT, Russia TV, demanding the arrest of Simon Ekpa, you know, from Russia TV. You know, I just see that he posted it on his Facebook page, you know, saying that he said that I was on Russia TV to discuss on the threat of election disruption in the southeast by terrorist Simon Ekpa. He is the one that is a terrorist. And I used the opportunity to further demand for the Ekpa arrest. This is somebody who is in Nigeria funding terrorism, funding the invasion of our land, and turn around and go to the Russian TV, you know, because they have access there. You know, they give them money, you know, freely. They have access to go to the Russian TV to broadcast and make their nonsense announcement. But here, we are discussing civilization. We're discussing freedom. We're discussing value system, which these people in Nigeria don't know. They don't know what is value. They don't know what is the value system. And we are bringing it to our own nation. We want to live like them. We want to be better than these people. And we are not going back. While this was going on, this is what we get the Nigeria state due to.
Nigeria, on a daily basis, witness the impunity which is a so-called Fulani herdsman extremist who shared ethnic and religious identity with President.
No, we can't be able to show that part because of some of the views there for viewer discretion. We can't be able to share that. That's why I have to forward it and then we move on.
Of my people, those who are hell-bent and their only interest is to make money and how to loot the money and enrich themselves. And they don't care about the atrocities that the Nigerian state is committing against our people. They don't care anything, they don't care about them. The only thing they care is to conduct election so that they can have appointments, so that they can become ministers, so that they can be intimidating the people with their military and convoy, so that they will begin to order military invasion of villages. This is what they do. And yet, they are working freely in Biafra land. You understand the wickedness of the people. But you see, when the revolution comes, it is going to wipe away all these evil people in our land. And the revolution is coming. It is going to start. And you see that the revolution is already there. I want you all to listen and let us continue.
Well, no change then, even if some country wants
no
to
change.
hold up.
Of course, we cannot influence and affect how some country would ratify. It's their decision. But our message is that we are willing to join and we prefer and want to join together.
You see, it is the same thing when you notice that you are under threat. You try to prevent it. Okay? Our own is that we are already in the threat. We have found ourselves in the web of this threat. And we want to exit. And the only way to exit from this particular tube that is coming is by referendum or by forceful exit through declaration. And therefore people are ready to do that. So I want you to understand that our fight is genuine and we are not going to back down. In addition to all the things I've said today, remember that European Union have said that Russia have violated all the laws, and I want to also draw similarity to the Nigerian state, how Nigerian state have violated their own laws and also their own promise made immediately after the Biafra Nigeria genocidal war. And I want you to listen to how this war and how this promise were violated against the Biafra people.
The tragic chapter of violence is just ended. We are at the dawn of national reconciliation. Once again, we have an opportunity to build a new nation.
But we have Kanu, who is the commander of Free Marine Commando, who have been able to capture a number of senior secessionist officers, and he had brought them to Lagos to see us in order to let us have the acceptance of the spirit of one Nigeria.
And I would like, therefore, to take this opportunity to say that I, Major General Philip Ethium, officer administering the government of the Republic of Biafra, now wish to make the following declaration: that the Republic of Biafra hereby ceases to exist.
Your Excellency.
Let's see you again.
My pleasure.
How are you?
Very well.
Let's see you again. Thank you.
Patrick Amadi.
How are you?
Excellency.
Glad to see you again. Let's see you again. Understood.
Now, I want you to understand that he said that I have started the process of reconciliation. That never happened. Nigeria betrayed that particular, violated that particular promise.
The tragic chapter of violence is just ended. We are at the dawn of national reconciliation.
They are at the dawn of national reconciliation. National reconciliation never happened till today. They have killed us in millions. And we are now saying that we cannot continue to watch you kill us again, and we must not validate you again this year. Over 60 years, you said you are on the national reconciliation, yet you deploy military to our land to bomb us and kill us. And we are saying we will not validate you again. We are ready to fight once and for all, and we'll fight again and again. Because this time around, there is social media. And And social media is making a huge difference. Because the social media, without the social media, Finland will not be talking what they are talking today. Without the social media, Europe will not be hearing what they are hearing today. In the 60s, when you were killing us, nobody knew what was going on. You made a blockade, connived with the British government to starve Biafra people to death. And millions of children were dying and nobody knew what was going on. Today, we are here with social media and we have exposed your impunity, your criminality to the world. And the world has come to know you. They know how you sponsor terrorism. They know how you blackmail us by coming out to kill people during our sit at home and blame it on us. And yet, it did not stop us from still ordering the sit at home that we have been ordering every day. So, on this note, we are going to bring the broadcast to an end this evening.
You have had a very outstanding message from our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. I'm going to bring you another section of the program next time. We are going to continue to bring the voice of Mazi Simon Ekpa, what he fought for, what he stood for. A man that sacrificed everything for you and I. A man that was standing for his people, standing for his right. A man who was keeping the legacy of Finland themselves. The ideology of Finland was the same thing he imbibed in. He wanted to use the ideology to save his people. But Finland betrayed him. The same Finland that have it as part of them to defend themselves. They appreciate freedom and human rights today. When it comes to Mazi Simon Ekpa, they sold out because of NATO. This program is very important because from that moment that woman joined NATO, you saw the Prime Minister there speaking about joining NATO. From the moment Finland joined NATO, the whole game changed. That was where the UK was able to manipulate them. Nigeria came into it, they began to pursue contract in Nigeria and all that. They sold out and the game changed. That very video you saw Mazi Simon Ekpa play was the game changer. This very video was the game changer. You saw Mazi Simon Ekpa in this broadcast, he was holding Finnish flag. You can see him. He was holding Finnish flag in this program. Finnish flag was in his pocket throughout the whole program. This was a very strong program, one of the last programs he made to prepare us for the D-Day. And you saw the video he played where the Prime Minister of Finland was speaking. That lady was talking about joining NATO in order to defend themselves, in order to speak for themselves and be who that they take their decisions. It was after that that the whole game changed. Now they turn against Mazi Simon Ekpa for doing the same thing the Finland country did to protect themselves. The same process Finland went to defend themselves. That was what Mazi Simon Ekpa borrowed from them. Mazi Simon Ekpa borrowed the idea from them and do the same thing Finland was doing, which he played on this very video. You saw him play. That woman was talking about later. Exactly. If you have time, watch this video over and over again, where the Prime Minister of Finland was speaking. That lady was speaking on the morals of Finnish authorities, of Finland government, their attitude, their respect to freedom. They can do anything to protect themselves, speak for themselves, and be who they are, to protect their sovereignty, their identity, and able to make their decisions. The same thing Mazi Simon Ekpa borrowed from them as a Finnish citizen to do the same, to save his own people. And they manipulated them through NATO. And it was a different story. We will not forget. We will continue to remind them. We will continue to touch these topics. We will continue to bring it and push it to them. And we will never forget. We will never forget. It was a very big blow. Now, before we round up, let us listen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu message. Hear what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has to say on this very short interview also.
We respect that. What most commentators don't appreciate about Africa, and which most Africans are a bit slightly uncomfortable with, is that somebody coming from Europe and without regard for your culture, your traditions, your way of life, saying, you are now in one country and your name is Nigeria.
Right.
There is something unnatural about it.
Yes.
I said to the British government, if you had come, conquered my people, which is a natural human process, that is totally natural.
Right.
If you had come, conquered our people, made us English, I can live with that.
Yeah.
But to come and hand over a children of God over to something completely alien, this same culture that we have in the north, which is an Islamic culture.
You've seen it there. Nnamdi Kanu was there talking about what the British did, the way they handed us over to the caliphate. That if they had come to conquer us, which is a natural thing, take over and run the place, it's a different thing. But for them to take us and hand us over to some people out there, that is unacceptable. That is one thing we cannot accept. And no sensible human being will accept that. That we are conquered is not the right thing, that they capture us is not the right thing, but to take us and hand over to some aliens, that is one thing that is unacceptable to us as Biafrans. And it doesn't matter what anybody says about that. It doesn't matter how anybody sees it. That is up to us as Biafran people. We cannot accept to be slave to anybody. We are kings and princes. And we cannot accept any second class of any kind, of any sort, of any type. It doesn't matter under which umbrella they hide to push those falsehoods. It is unacceptable. Very, very unacceptable. So wherever you are, at this very challenging and tempting time, we must continue to stand tall and stand strong. Let us hear from our eternal leader, Dim Odumegwu interview, as we are rounding up too.
You hesitate about using the term, but actually the Biafran problem was nothing except the genocidal. There was no distinction. The mere fact that you were an Easterner in those days labeled you fit only for one thing: death, and death at the hands of the Nigerian authorities. The Igbos and their associates were killed in practically every village in northern Nigeria. They were killed in many places in western Nigeria. Lagos, even on Kanu, the very center of Lagos, people will look at and thought, oh, this looked an Igbo, and killed. The very first army officer killed in Lagos, actually, during that time was from Calabar. Was killed on the bridge, and so on. Igbos were being hunted out and killed. The Igbos that remained in Lagos after the war began were herded together and detained without any trial or anything. No question of any legal rights. Till today, property of Igbos are still sequestered in various areas of Nigeria, and they have not been released, not all of them, to the Igbos, the original owners. But we're quite certain. In fact, the only reason it is not called or not accepted as genocidal is because of the Cold War. At that time, anything ethnic based was almost like an insult to humanity. and ethnicity became a term of abuse in politics. That's all. If it were today, certainly, what happened in Nigeria is much, much worse than what you have seen of Rwanda, not to talk about Eastern Europe.
You have heard that, and you saw that from our eternal leader, Dim Odumegwu. The attack against the Biafrans was genocidal. It was a direct genocidal attack against the Biafran people, the Igbos more especially, and so many other people from the southeastern part of Nigeria. Not just the Igbos, other tribes also were affected.
Quite a lot of those were killed during the July program. And I myself, I'm not an Igbo man, but I was to be killed also, and I just managed to escape. And the heroes also escaped, but very many were killed. Those that were killed came from what was then eastern Nigeria. For instance, Major Rock is not an Igbo man, but he was killed. Major was killed in Kanu. Major Kanu was killed in Lagos, and he's not an Igbo man. And several others like that. I'm trying to say that the people, the officers killed, came not just from one tribe, but from the eastern Nigeria as it then was. So it was lucky for this.
That was a testimony from General Effiong. The person you just heard his voice is General Effiong, telling you the atrocities of Nigeria. That it was not just focused on the Igbos alone. He himself was to be murdered, he was to be killed, but he's not an Igbo person. And he made mention of so many names of people who were murdered simply because they are from the old southeastern region. The only thing that you need to be identified with and you are gone is to be from the southeastern region, not just the Igbos. But unfortunately today you see some people denying their identity, claiming what they are not, some out of fear for one reason or the other, some because of position. It made people to deny whom they are, which sometimes we overlook it, but at this point in time, it is high time everybody stand up and defend themselves and be whom you got to be. Enough of hiding from yourself, enough of keeping yourself away from you. A lot have been committed against us, and we cannot pretend they didn't happen. The only thing we will say is never again.
You, until recently, was the chair of Amotekun in Oyo State, right? Yeah, for some time. So what can you say about security around Oyo State and Amotekun?
Until I left, the security was still not okay. There is the influx of this Fulani harassment. And I was shouting. I gave a lecture somewhere. And I quoted Al-Basha. He said, if you are fighting security and it lasts more than 4 weeks, the government is behind it.
So, explain. Good.
The federal government was behind the influx of Fulani harassment to the southern part.
When you say Fulani heads,
did you hear that? The federal government were directly in charge of flooding the southern part of Nigeria with the Fulanis. I am not making the accusation. This is a Yoruba man, the chief leader of the Amotekun, confessing that the people that brought the ginger weed to the southern part of Nigeria to take over the country was the federal government. Look at it. You know, when we say it, they think it's you. Look at it. These are the reasons why Nigeria will never be secured, will never be better. It will get worse every day. It will get worse. Even in this president of Tinubu, they are now completely in charge. This is the leader of a multiple confessing.
Men with cow. They call them Fulani husbands. Some of them don't even have cows.
You see?
When they were coming, fully armed.
Fully armed.
AK-47.
Did you hear that?
The Buhari government was involved.
Wait. That time, everybody was complaining. That time, the government announced that everybody should submit their weapons to the police. Now, people are complaining that time. I'm saying this thing. There was a meeting in Kanu. They said they are full now. Full now, the national movement. In their community that time, it's about 5-6 years ago, that Allah has given them the land of Nigeria.
Oh, did you hear that?
And that they have told all Fulani in West Africa, Submission, and Central Africa to start coming to Nigeria. To come and take over what Allah has given them as inheritance. That's the land of Nigeria. And that when they are coming, they should come fully armed. That's the only language Nigerians understand. Violence. It is in their communication.
Did you hear that?
All that time, people were shouting. Yabali didn't say a word. But when people challenge him once, why are these people carrying it? He said they are using it to protect their cows.
Was it true?
Of course not. Very, very false. Now, Buhari, I know he has a very close relationship with the Bishop of Canterbury. Now, when he went to UK, during one of his period of treatment, he told Bishop of Canterbury that it is not Fulani husbands that are killing people. There's some group trained by Gaddafi, who the Gaddafi has armed. They are the one that infiltrated the Fulani husband. They are the one doing the killing.
What did you discover?
I was discovering with somebody one day who was saying, I said, come, you are very close to Buhari. Who are meeting? The general is a soldier for Nigeria. Asking that in the military, when foreigners enter your territory,
what do you do?
Carry arms. What is it you are told in the mission? They are described to us as invaders. And what did the military say we should do with them? We are to hunt them down like rabbits and eliminate them. I said, go and meet Buhari and ask him.
Did they hunt them down?
Who are the people doing the kidnapping? Who are the people? They like refer to them as bandits. Who are the people carrying out the banditry?
Are they in our forest around here?
The entire Yoruba land is occupied by them.
As we are talking now?
As I'm talking to you.
General Tobun?
Yes.
So when you were in Amoteco, did you try to tackle them?
I did everything I can. But I didn't have cooperation.
Cooperation from who? From Oyo State Governor?
Government, yes.
Oyo State Government?
Yes.
How?
Imagine.
Please give us a hint. What is it that you want?
What do you want to hear? They didn't cooperate. No gun for Motebu.
I wanted NCOs, non-commissioned officers, to be recruited, to be put as coordinators in the very local government. I couldn't achieve that. Why? What was the reason? They were not available to be recruited or what? They are available. Now, I don't want to talk more about this. I said they are supposed to be zonal commanders. And I wanted retired combatant officers of the rank of captain or major to be zonal commanders of Amateku in various zones. You did achieve that. I did achieve it. I don't want to tell much in that area. But are we under threat in the southwest? We are Syria.
Thank you so much for listening. We are going to bring you more of this very interview on our next program. We will continue to bring you all these things for you to know that Nigeria will never know peace. Disintegration of Nigeria is the only answer. The earlier you understand that, the better for every one of us. Disintegrate Nigeria for peace. Disintegrate Nigeria for safety and security. Disintegrate Nigeria for growth. Disintegrate Nigeria peacefully. Let everybody go their separate ways. That is the only solution. I appreciate everyone that has been with us on this program today. Thank you for being part of the program. Thank you for joining us. And I say, may Chukwu Okike Abiyama continue to guide and protect us in other ways. Have a wonderful night, everybody, and see you again tomorrow by the grace of Chukwu Okike. Good night, and God bless.
Every time Nigeria is ringing bell. If I look on news, it is bell. If I look social media, it is problem. When I should be drinking coffee, they will make me to come online. They don't want to have me to rest. But you know what? You know what? The spirit in me, the Biafra spirit in me, I said, when I told you, if Nnamdi Kanu is looking for 100 people, I promise that I have 50 in me. You have not seen anything. It is not by my power. It is not by my power. It is not by my power. But, you know, as an my own oro, I am a royal rucha. You understand? Till Biafra come. But today you are going to receive sense. The crypto, Nigeria crypto. As they are crippling your economy, they close border. They closed the border. ESN came out automatically, you know, weaponized. It shocked them. It shocked them. They said, this border no work. Oh. This close of border no work. Oh. Now, how do we stop the funding now of this Sunday or Igbo? How do we stop the contribution? Let us stop the crypto. Because they were following Nigerians, southern Nigerians. Use crypto. We should open crypto. We use crypto. Don't use the Western Union. Don't use this. They say, so these people are doing crypto. Okay, let us slash them. Bah! They are not considering the economic impact of crypto. No. They are not considering how much the crypto is bringing to Nigeria economy. Their agenda is not to make Nigeria progress. No. They have a better agenda. Now you get the point. Now you get the point. My only problem is that why is it that you must wait? Thomas. Was Thomas born in Nigeria? Is Thomas a Nigerian? Is Thomas in the Bible in Nigeria? Are you a lineage of Thomas? Are you a lineage of Thomas? All of you have Thomas blood in your vein. How did you get Thomas blood in your vein? That it must happen to you first before you understand. He had a baby here more in Anokia. He had more kind of man. Whoo! When we are telling you, you don't know, we are telling you, even we are not prophets, but everything we have said, everything we open this mouth to say, if it don't happen today, it will happen tomorrow. I want you to go from the beginning of this struggle. From the beginning. In fact, even the one that we are not sure of, once God asks us to say it, we will say it and God will do it. Hey! Woo! I said, did you see the prayer? May God harden the heart of the leaders in Nigeria so that we will tell them, the world may know that Obi is no longer a boy. I remember when we used to read the history of the Greeks, the Greek gods. I don't know, of course you don't read all those things in Africa. The history of the Greek gods. Medusa, they say Medusa is she look at when you look at Medusa, you turn into she would dry you and you become stone. Medusa have snake, her hair. Medusa's hair is snake. Because of the power in Medusa went